Okay, so before I start any of this, I have to talk about Mike Flanagan's last post right here. And I just, there's nothing here except just perfection. I just wanted to put I just wanted to let you guys know. I'm so excited. I, you know, whenever I ever spoke about a remake or continuation or sequel of The Exorcist, I've only met the thought with such an utter, loud, and exacerbated level of disdain and hatred for the idea. But I was also asked once, who would I want to take over if there just had to be something else? And I always said Mike Flanagan post Midnight Mass. And now that it's wrapped and now that we're moving forward with it, all that's left to do is wait for him to do his magic with his editors and get that trailer so that I can react to it and completely vomit with happiness. Until then, I just wanted to let that be known. Anyway, let's talk about the movie that I'm here to talk about tonight. This one is for a special kind of people. All right, if you love horror, zombie apocalypse, but you also love martial arts films, and you also love period pieces, and you just want to find the perfect film to put all three of those things together for a perfect symbiosis. I've got you, dog. I've got you. So the movie we're going to talk about tonight is a Korean period piece that involves all those elements. It's called Rampant, very much in the tradition of Train to Busan, but put into the 17th century, where empires were things, and kings and princes were things, and dynasties were things, and villages and overthrowing was a thing. This is all here in a perfectly sliced, compressed, and delivered package for you. I love this movie. I think that while it doesn't have anything original, I think all of its pieces are perfectly executed for what I think is the definition of a summer blockbuster experience with a hard R right on your face, right in your face, right in your ass. Now, the movie follows a 17th century Korean empire that is looking to be overthrown by, you guessed it, someone from within. A brother has been killed, and therefore, that brother, now the new prince, has come to collect his crown and also wife his brother's widow, as per his dead brother's will. What he doesn't know is that upon returning to his empire, there is a plague. There is a virus that is turning people into the undead. Almost exactly like the undead from Train to Busan. While not as feral, still very threatening in numbers. And now he finds that his goals have shifted. His goal is now to protect the villages around his empire and to figure out who exactly is responsible for this plague that is turning people into the undead, because it is very clear that this a mistake it was not. So I'm gonna leave that there, but let's talk about this movie in pieces. Firstly, the performances are awesome. All the characters, from the prince, who is not very he's like the counterpart of his brother. His brother was very much a man of honor, very much a man of responsibility. And in his will, he said, "I want you to take over my crown, and also take my wife, wed her, and take her away." And so he's trying to fulfill that will. But he plays it very loose. He's the kind of guy that just wants to go to the villages, and because he's a prince, he just wants to hit. He just wants to hit and quit. You know what I mean? The whole thing, the whole 9 yards. Everyone within those 9 yards, he wants to put his dick in it. He also has an assistant who follows him, who's kind of like a bumbling idiot, but he is very funny and very catering and very loving to him. So even though he is a bumbling idiot and they treat him as such, there is a sweet camaraderie between the two, where he's always trying to tell him, think before you act, which plays into the film as we progress and things get a little bit more serious. The prince, he's like the charming, snarky guy who like is trying to keep keep it deep down inside hidden, that he has this sense of honor that he doesn't want anyone to see. And of course, as the movie progresses, you get to see it. There's a myriad of other characters. There is a group, a gang of fighters that he ends up teaming up with as the plague begins to take over the empire as a whole. And they're all very notable. They all have their specific styles of fighting and weaponry, so they all stick out during the fight sequences. They look amazing doing what they do. These people are experts, and they are very good at their craft. I mean, the way that they move, the way that they fight, which brings me to the insane amount of fight sequences in this movie and the epic scale of some of these set pieces, because the movie starts out small. As you're figuring out that there's a plague, there's also this second subplot. There's a subplot. There's this layer of someone within the empire actually using this plague to wipe out the current hierarchy so he can take over, right? Which is no mystery. You've seen this plot before. This is even in the trailer, like, it's there. But it starts out as send assassins, and you do so. And then you start involving the zombies onto this, and now our main cast is fighting zombies and assassins before we progress into a larger scale, more at stake, more people dying kind of narrative, where, like, it's clearly it's gone beyond the overthrowing, because now the person who's responsible for this cannot control the outcome. And what you find yourself experiencing in this movie is a series of amazingly choreographed, swashbuckling fight sequences of swords against swords and gangs against an army of the undead. There's even a fantastic fight sequence somewhere in the latter half that involves two people fighting and doing incredible levels of swordplay while trying to avoid an amassing of undead around them, which just, I mean, there's so much happening in that scene because you're invested in the fight between the two main people that are fighting, while also simultaneously watching them duck and dodge and cut at the undead who are also trying to get a piece of them. And I thought that scene was incredibly choreographed. There's such a dynamicism and ingenuity behind all of the fight sequences, where it isn't just fighting. It's not just swordplay. It is the undead, and they also have they're also a very big threat. These undead transform like that, and I mean, you've seen it in Train to Busan. If you've seen any Korean zombie movie, really, they're all like that. They don't waste any time like building up. No, they immediately turn. Their body contorts, their eyes go gray, their veins get all bluey and shit, and they're attacking you. And here they're pretty quick in the same way that Train to Busan was. And if I believe this is the same production company who produced Train to Busan and some of the people involved. And it very much feels like it could be a prequel, even though it's not connected. If you've seen the Netflix series Kingdom, 2 seasons, 6 episodes each, this movie is basically a condensed version of that show. That is to say, even if you watch the show, watch this movie. And if you watch this movie, definitely watch the show, because if you love the intrigue, there is a political plot here. There is a lot of espionage in nature. There's a lot of intrigue and betrayal, and there's a lot of this and that and sides and shifting of moralities. If you love that kind of shit in your period, dynasty, empire, overthrowing empires narratives, you have all of that. And then you have zombies. What's not to like, dude? Like, come on, dude. It's so fucking good. This movie is so fun. I love everything about it. Again, it's not original. I just told you a whole show that literally is this story, beat for beat, but prolonged for 12 episodes across 2 seasons. So, but they're both executed fantastically. Like, genuinely, when I first saw this, I was like, did somehow someone, like, they must have gotten together, like, hey, we want to tell the story again, but most people didn't watch the show, so let's just make a movie about it. I feel like that was the logic, even though I don't think there's any correlation between the two. But nonetheless, dude, I cannot recommend this movie enough. It's so fun. It isn't original, but it executes everything perfectly. The fight sequences are what you're here for. The set pieces and is what you're here for. And the political intrigue is also done really well. And so you have yourself two different kinds of movies where I feel like no, not one side takes dominance over the other. They complement each other really well because it is part of the political intrigue to figure out, well, why would someone go this far to try to use this thing, this plague, to overthrow a kingdom so that they can take over. And I think that is such an in that way it is very unique that they could have easily just made a dynasty type film where it is just black and white, the kingdom is being overthrown and we got to protect our people. No, they went above and beyond to give you two narratives and then found a perfect way to seamlessly put them together to complement each other. So you very much have of two minds, three minds really, because you have the drama of the sort of empirical narratives, and then you have the horror, but then you have martial arts, and they do not skimp out on the martial arts here. The fighting here is fantastic, and it had me clapping, especially towards the end. The swordplay is so impressive, and I also like the idea of like in this movie they do refer to this plague, the undead as demons, and given the fact that science was nowhere where it's at now, where microscopes and things and dissection and shit. Those things were not the technology of that time, so for them this very much took almost a folklore and or theological basis of belief. It's like, okay, these things are demons, that's what they are demons. And I enjoy that putting something that we're used to watching in a different time period does make it fresh because it goes beyond the infection pandemic. And they do have like the whole like, hey, let's quarantine people, but when you see that now and this, it's a normal thing. We gotta put everyone in quarantine and we have to do all these things. But in this movie, because of their lack of science and their lack of understanding of biology, to them it's a demon, and it's theological, and it's religion, and it's faith-based. And I thought that was awesome. It's just a good way to go to make something fresh, right? I think horror in period pieces always are a little bit more interesting than in modern day. Vampires, Victorian times, it just fits perfectly, right? Werewolves, Victorian times. I would love to see a werewolf film during the Viking era. That fits so fucking awesome. In this, we have a 17th century empirical dynasty Korean drama with a zombie infection twist. That kind of stuff already makes a well-used concept and story and genre kind of a little bit more unique, because then it gives people of a different time a different way to react than we would in present time and how we already expect people to react in present time. So I can't recommend this movie enough. Go watch it. You will enjoy it if you like all the three things I said. And this movie, I did tell you guys I was going to bring to you, I was going to find a way to mesh these worlds together. They do talk a lot about martial arts movies in here, and obviously they talk a lot about horror. So this is part of me trying to bring to your attention movies that do that. Okay, so anyway, hope you guys enjoyed tonight's review. That was such a fun movie to rewatch. I've actually seen it before, and I hadn't seen it since I bought it. And it was so refreshing to go back to. So anyway, it's called Rampant. Go find it. At the end of the video, you always know that I put it where you can find it. So I'll research it and then I'll type it there. But anyway, thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate you guys as always. All the comments, all the love, all the back and forth is so stimulating. It keeps me coming here to put you guys on to stuff or just talk about stuff you guys already know is out there. So thank you. Devil and Silver last episode tomorrow. Let's go. Anyway, is it tomorrow or Thursday? Well, it's after midnight, so technically it would be tomorrow anyway. Anyway, that's enough of me yapping. I'll see you guys at the movies.